Hello, everybody. My name is Garrett Sims, and welcome back to Podcast with Garrett Sims. It's Monday, March 1st. May I say, it's 8:20, and actually I didn't mean to time that up as perfect as it was because I wanted to go at 8, but I'm one of those type of people. I like to round up my numbers. So, here we go. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how to feel. At the end of every month, I try to talk about like what my future is going to look like. Like what do I want to do? What do I want to change? And obviously, I think that switching things up a little bit. I am always open to improvement. I'm one of those type of people that switching things up doesn't bother me. And right now I'm trying something new. Obviously, this is my desk behind me. It looks really weird, but my roommate said hey man, he said try a beanbag chair. I had one. I was like, we're gonna relax this out a little bit. I said, let's go ahead and do a beanbag chair, and just set it up. I got my camera obviously right in front of me. I'm used to that side shot, so I don't know how to feel about this. My mic's in front of me. I can see my audio. It looks great. It feels great. So obviously the first question is that I think everybody's been wanting to ask is where the heck have I been? No, I'm just kidding. It's not like I've been gone for a month. I think I took 3 days off. Something like that. I don't know. Like I said, I'm always open to innovation. I'm always open to improvement. And I want to make content like that, I want to make content that people want to watch. If people aren't watching it, I want to tinker with it. And sometimes I overthink a little bit too much. Sometimes I think, for me, thinking kills me. If I just do this every day, I think I would be 100% fine. It's just a matter of me being lazy or whatever, and it just I think that's where I've definitely been is trying to create and then overthinking it, and then at the end of the day I just get so lazy, and I'm tired, and that's been the problem for me lately is been going to sleep on time. I've been going to bed about 2 3 in the morning, waking up at 11, and I'm not that type of person. Like, that type of stuff makes me upset because I feel like that's half of a day gone. And I want to be able to do this, and because this is so important to me, I love doing it. Not only because do I get to create entertainment for people to watch, but I get to be myself. I get to sit here talking in front of an audience, and those people that choose to listen, it's really great. And it's just really tough to go through struggles and feel like you don't really want to do this. But, sometimes, as I've said, people just need a quick, swift kick in the rear end to get going again. That's what I need. I'm just waiting for it to happen. And, I'm always looking for improvement. So, I've been sitting here. I want to implement some new things. Obviously, I think I want to add more topics. Not like sitting here saying, okay, here's a list of what I'm going to say. Because I think that's just bull. I think if you said, listen, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to go off a list, I think anybody can do that. I think sitting here talking to somebody, sometimes I may lose my train of thought about 50 times a video, but at least you're seeing what I have to say, like we're having a conversation right now. And, that's why I'm not a big fan of going off lists. I did it for a couple deals at the beginning. I was like, it gives me ideas to talk about. I don't like it too much. It's kind of like a speech. Like, when you're giving a speech, let me tell you what. I think the best speeches come from the heart, come motivationally, when you're not expecting it. I think when you have to improvise and say the right things and make a speech, I think that makes it 20 times better than saying, listen, this is the 3 things I'm going to talk about. I'm going to go into each depth and then stick to that. Like, that's hard. I just think it diminishes, the point of a speech. I know people are like, oh, you're supposed to do an outline, you're supposed to have this, and that. No. I'll give you a speech, and I bet you it will be better than anything I could ever sit down and do an outline to. I'm just not one of those guys. And that's why I've been working on topics. One of the ones I've been working on, there's obviously the food for thought. I want to change that a little bit. I think I want to go more towards critical thinking. I think that makes a lot more sense. Not that I don't love food, because I do. But food for thought just kind of sounds a little bit weird. Like, and you can't say best for last. That would be a cool thing, but I'd be ripping off people if I did that. But I think critical thinking for me makes a lot of sense. It's something I thought up with. Like, I want you to leave every video thinking. Like, ask you a question at the end, or leave you with something to think about. And that's one of the ones that I want to implement. Another one is grinding my gears, or what grinds my gears, something like that. And I did see it on Family Guy, but I had thought about it long before that. And that's one of those things that instead of calling it like a rant or I'm going to sit here and complain, no, I'm going to tell you something that's grinding my gears, something that I don't like, For me, something that I don't like is, I think when I go to work out, and I notice this, there's the people that work out, and sometimes they take their time in between sets, obviously, which you should do because you need the rest, a little bit of relaxation in between, sets that you do, and then I've noticed the people that sit there and are trying everything possible just to not have a sense of urgency. And I believe a sense of urgency when you're working out is huge. Because there's other people waiting on you. Like, that's what sucks about being in a crowded gym. If I go back home, it's not that big a deal. You can take as much time as you want because there's not a long line of people waiting. And, everybody knows how the bench presses are. Everybody loves the bench presses. And that's why I feel guilty when I get on a bench press and I do a set and I'm sitting there and I'm scrolling through my phone because I'm just trying to give myself relaxation. You don't want to sit there and go, okay, I'm going to do a set and then wait a minute. Like, you want to wait like 2 or 3 and then go. You want to kind of take your time with that to make sure you're not exhausting yourself. So that's something that kind of grinds my gears. When you don't show a sense of urgency, when you're working out on something and you know that other people are waiting, that's something that kind of doesn't sit well with me, is have a sense of urgency. Know that there are people waiting. Try to get done faster. If you're using the stuff, and you're taking limited breaks and minimal breaks, and that's great. But if you're just sitting there to just sit there because, I did a set, now I'm just gonna relax and do this and do that, and now I'm gonna do some other things, and then I'm gonna do my set. It's a little bit insane to me, but that's the idea. That's the premise of what grinding my gears is supposed to be. That's something I want to implement, and I really like it. It was something that I was like, listen, this is something like, if I felt confident about it, somebody could be like, grinding my gears. I'll tell you something about it. It may not be every day. I did that thing earlier. I did motivational Monday, I think, or motivational message of the day. I'd like to bring that back a little bit. Tie that idea back in. I like what it meant. I still like it because I'm not trying to say but I've always been told that I've been a motivational type of guy. Like, I can say things and they will sound inspirational or motivational just by, saying certain things. And that's why I like it so much. And I feel like some people, I'm somebody that, may need it every once in a while, but I don't need it all the time. I don't need somebody to tell me, hey, dude, you got to go work out. I know that. I know myself. I can't have a day. If I did 2 days consecutively without working out, I go insane. I started getting real jittery and jumpy. Like, I get agitated not working out. I get agitated sitting in this dorm, doing nothing. And, so bring back the Motivational Monday. Those were a couple things I was thinking about. And I thought about little tiny things, like still doing the podcast, obviously, but maybe just changing my channel name back to Garrett Sims. And just be the general Garrett Sims. That's what it is, okay? You'll have podcasts. You'll have, I'll call them originals. That's what I called K-Bob's House Podcast Original. But they'd just be called originals. These are things that go through my mind all the time. And I know if anybody ever watches this, they're going to be like, oh, this is boring. I'm just not going to watch. But, it's times like this where I think I need the feedback the most because I want to change things up. And I got this week to kind of, I'm going to try to nail out a podcast every day. That's my goal. I want to nail out a podcast every day. Then the week after will be fine, and I'll still be in the dorm. Spring break is when it's going to get interesting, and that's because I'm going to have a job. I'm very excited about it. I'm going to be making quite a bit of money, and if I make enough where I'm happy, I'd like to invest a little bit, not a whole lot. I've always said that it's important to invest in yourself. That's the best thing you can do is invest in yourself. Prove to yourself that you trust yourself enough to go out and do something, but you just don't want to go out and blow all your money. There's a difference. If you go out and buy $1,000 worth of equipment, that's just insane. If you spend about $200, a little bit different. You're investing, but you're saying, okay, here's the deposit. If you work so hard, then treat yourself to something else. It's kind of what I use when I work out, okay? Or, okay, you've worked your butt off for a week. Go enjoy yourself some ice cream. Go enjoy yourself some, like, maybe you have ice cream. Maybe you have that Halo Top or whatever. I actually quite enjoy the Halo Top. But maybe you're like, man, I'm really wanting an Oreo Blast. And you've worked your butt off. Go enjoy, man. Go out and get yourself something that you want to enjoy. Because I'm telling you, man, if you work out every day, if you watch what you eat every day for a week, you deserve to have a little cheat day where you can, let some things fly. It's just you have to have control of that. And that's what I mean by the equipment type deal. I bought my mic. I love my mic. I'll tell you right now, for anybody thinking about podcasting, for anybody thinking about doing YouTube, Blue Yeti, that version of the microphone. Let's see, I'm already getting lost here. Can't speak. Need some water. For anybody looking for a great microphone, whether it's gaming, whether it's podcasting, whether it's YouTube, I'm telling you right now, Blue Yeti is the way to go. I think as a mic stands, they're about $120, sometimes $150, depending on what type of package you get. But there's nothing that even comes close to it. It's crystal clear. It's great for me who listens to ASMR. Yeah, I'm not afraid to admit that. I've admitted it to my friends before. It's great for using it for that because they got that nice, 3D audio feature. They got a great one if you wanted to sit down and interview somebody. You can sit down and it just picks up the two. It is such a great mic, and that's why I bought it. And lucky enough for me, I got this camera, and when I first got it, I saw that it was HD 1080p, and I was really happy about it. I was like, it's a very nice mic. It's a very nice camera. And I was like, I wouldn't mind picking it up. They called it the Pro Streamer Pack. But, me being who I am, I'm sitting here. I don't necessarily like the camera too much anymore. I think it could definitely be better. But, maybe I'm thinking if I get some lighting thing, like, LEDs are great. Everybody loves LED lights. I love LED lights. I like a more wider light. But I've come to understand, like, that softer lighting is a lot better for podcast and all those types of deals. Better lighting. And that's why I would like to get a softer lighting deal. And if I could get that, that'd be great. Maybe that would help me keep my camera a little bit more. And you start to look at all the cameras. I'm telling you, they're expensive. I mean, one of my friends was telling me, he said, look at Sony. Look at the Sony cameras. They got the 4K ones. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, dude, these are really expensive. And, nobody wants to sit there and buy a $1,000 camera that they may or may not use. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be doing this in 2 months. I really want to. This is the longest I've ever posted on YouTube. This is the longest consecutively, week to week, I've posted on YouTube before. I don't want to sit there and spend $1,000 and then don't know what to do with it after. So, that was definitely an option. And I just keep thinking about what's up next, and sometimes I just gotta slow down. But I'm happy with everything I got. There's always room for improvement. There's always that overthinking type deal, whatever. Okay, we're done talking about the channel. I'm boring myself out a little bit because I'm starting to lose my train of thought. I'm like, this dude's putting himself to sleep. And I talked about it a while ago. I deleted Instagram, I deleted TikTok, and I deleted Twitter. I deleted Facebook as well, but Facebook's like an old person app now, so like hardly anybody uses it. And I haven't really missed it. I think there's a few things I kind of miss it for. Like I said, when I'm working out, just sitting there scrolling through, making sure I get a little bit of rest before the next set. Like take two minutes just to scroll. ease yourself, and then do another set. But other than that, I haven't really missed it. Like, I'm not a big Twitter person to begin with, so that didn't really bother me. Not a big Facebook person. So the only two I really missed was TikTok and Instagram. But I'll tell you what, right now, I could live with just YouTube and Snapchat. And I think there's going to be a time where I obviously download Instagram again. I'm not that insane. You need it. But I haven't truly missed it. So, and part of the reason I did it was to prove to myself, like, I don't need Instagram and Facebook. I don't need those things. Like, I don't want to be controlled by it, and I'm not trying to sound weird, like, oh, Instagram's controlling us like puppets. But, I mean, seriously, I was getting to the point where after every post I'd look to the comments section just to see whether it agree or not. And the fact is, a social media app shouldn't tell you what to believe or how you should feel. You should feel how you feel. And that doesn't change. And I just felt like that was what was kind of happening to me. So I said, listen, I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to, maybe I'm a little bit out of touch now. I don't, J.J. Watt signed with the Cardinals. And instead of knowing it right away, I had to figure out through one of my buddies, were like, J.J. Watt to the Cardinals? I'm like, that happened? They're like, yeah. So, I mean, I might be a little bit more out of touch. But, I mean, other than that, it's not really that big a deal. I just want to prove to myself something, and I think I proved that. I think I just went on 4 weeks. I'm paused. It's either 3 or 4 weeks I haven't had it. But, every once in a while I'm like, you know what, you get on there for 30 minutes, see if you missed anything, then delete it. So, I mean, there's a constant, every end of the week I install it, then delete it. So, I think I'm going to work my way back. I'm going to put Instagram on first, and then I'll probably go Snapchat, Instagram, and YouTube, and then slowly start adding everything back. But, I'm encouraging people, try it. Just try it. Take a week and just delete it. Take a week, delete Instagram, delete Twitter, delete Facebook, delete something that makes you feel maybe a little bit insecure, something that maybe, you think is controlling the way that you think, something along those lines. And for some people, they're great outlets for them. They use them to express how they feel. And I think that's great. I think that's what the app should be for, but unfortunately, I think there's a lot of other things that come with it. Obviously, online trolls. I think that there's, a lot of other things that, obviously, you look up something on Google and then it pops up on Instagram and you're like, wow, that happened. But, and I'm, gonna keep moving on because I'm blowing myself. See, I'm out of it. They always have this statement, like, you could work for 4 months of working out and, practicing a certain skill or something like that, but it takes like a week to get rid of it. Like, 4 months to build it up, 8 days to get rid of it. And I've heard that actually a lot. And I believe that. Like, I haven't done this in, I think, 5 days. And you start to get out of it a little bit. And I was on track. I think, some people would agree with me that I was actually at the point where I was feeling very confident. I was talking. Not that talking's an issue for me. I could get out in front of an audience of 10,000 people and deliver a speech or do something to embarrass myself. But, like, you start to realize with podcasting, like, there's a certain tone you want to have. There's a certain way you want to talk. And I think I was starting to develop that and finding what was right for me. And then because I don't do it every day, guess what? It's gone. Because I didn't do it long enough. And so this is where I'm at. That's probably why I'm boring myself. My roommate fell asleep the other time I did one. He said, your podcast put me to sleep. And I was like, oh, wow. I was like, better choose your next words very wisely because you hurt my feelings. Like, you will hurt my feelings because I love my podcast and near and dear to my heart because I love everything about it. Love everything that it stands for. Okay? I was on YouTube, and because it's March, March Madness is starting. It's one of the most fun college tournaments ever. I think it's very interesting. I'm not a basketball person, and I love watching it because you always have the underdog stories. And I think that's very interesting to me. Well, IGN posted something today, and they're doing like a superhero bracket, and just to give you a little brief description on it, you got like the MCU, the DCEU, I think is what they call it, then like Sony, and Fox, so like the X-Men and Spider-Man, and then they have like basically everything else, like Incredibles and I forget some of the other ones. I think it was like Hancock and other superhero movies like that. And I think they just took like out of those 4 categories, they took the highest 16 rated, and they rated them number 1 to number 16, and they're split up into 4 quadrants. I'm gonna be honest with you. I already know who's gonna win. If they don't win, I would be shocked. If Avengers Endgame does not win, I would be totally shocked. Now, this is the only way I won't be shocked. So there's like a couple of them that I think, okay, if they win, I can see why. That's The Dark Knight Rises, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, either Spider-Man 1 or 2 with Tobey Maguire, or The Incredibles. I think those 4 have a chance at knocking it off just because, Disney has a big following. Everybody loves The Incredibles. The Dark Knight Rises was one of the best Batman movies they ever put out. Everybody loves the Tobey Maguire movies. Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 were absolutely genius pieces of artwork, is basically what they were. So I wouldn't be upset if those ones won. And then there's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which I think is it's a good movie. I think it's underrated. I think it can never be truly overrated. That's how good it is. Because if you look at the styling and the story, and it's just really good. And you get a lot of Easter eggs in that, and they're obviously planning on doing a sequel because it's successful. And then you look at Avengers Endgame, which I think is the single greatest superhero movie in existence. I mean, you look at a franchise like that builds 23 movies alone. Like, they have 23 movies, was able to span that from 2008 to 2019, and it was just amazing. I think I lied. I lied there. I think actually Endgame was 18. Yeah, Endgame was 18. Black Widow was supposed to be 19, but we didn't get any movies. I don't think 19. We didn't get any 20. See, now I'm just confused. Yeah, Endgame came out in 19, okay? I'm an idiot. Don't listen to me. Endgame came out in 19. Black Widow was supposed to come out in 20. 2020 was the first year we didn't get any Marvel movies. And then 2021 started off with WandaVision, then Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Then you're going to get Black Widow. And then we're going to end the year with Spider-Man No Way Home, which don't think I didn't forget about that, okay? But anyway, back to our friggin' March Madness of superhero movies. Listen, Avengers Endgame, one of the greatest of all time. I mean, literally they tied the entire universe together with that one movie. Had the greatest, I think, villain ever with Thanos. So I would be very shocked if that lost. I think it's basically like Duke in March Madness. Like a very overpowered Duke team. Like a very overpowered Duke team is probably going to win. Now, maybe it stumbles somewhere along the line. You don't know that. But for right now, Avengers Endgame is Duke. Obviously, Duke isn't that good this year, but we're not going to talk about that. We talked about it a lot. So, definitely excited to get back at it tomorrow. I am. Very excited. I need to get back into the roll of things. I need to get a better sleep schedule. I would love to be doing these podcasts at 8:30, 9:30 in the morning, let them last all day. Do one podcast a day, do it early in the morning, then hit class, then focus on the rest of the day, studying, homework, this and that. And that's what I want to do. I'd be very shocked if it happened this week, but we're going to work towards that goal. Because any goal is attainable if you choose to do it. So, as for that, I appreciate whoever watches this. I hope a lot of people watch it. I hope every video I make is the one that, helps make me famous and, helps me deliver the message that I'm trying to portray. And, I saved a couple things that I didn't want to talk about today because I want to leave them for tomorrow. That's a big thing, too, is you sometimes have to run out of things to talk about. But tomorrow we'll be back to normal. Normally, I want to do these at the end of the month. But since it fell on a Sunday, I was like, we'll go ahead and do this Monday. I'm Garrett Sims. This has been the podcast. Let me know if there's anything you want to see in the future, how to fix some certain things. But other than that, I will see you tomorrow.